Sooner Scoop HD.
Yeah, Jeff, I want to ask you about Dylan. And looking back, when you first recruited him, obviously not the prototypical quarterback as far as size and things like that. What did you see and what did you notice about his size and the way he sort of compensated for that when you started looking to him in high school?
Yeah.
And throughout his career, how's he been able to figure out ways to make it work, even not being as big as a lot of guys?
Right. I think the first thing that comes to mind, man, is just incredibly accurate. So you see that all over the tape through his high school ball. You don't have that much production in high school and not have anticipation and accuracy. So when you're talking about the quarterback position, two huge things that we're always evaluating, always looking at, he has both. He's had both for a long time, so that was kind of the first part of it.
And then does having a smaller quarterback change things at all as far as what you do offensively?
It really doesn't. He's a guy that, again, he's played at an extremely high level. I think we've asked him to do a lot of things through the spring and fall camp to get us to where we are today, and he's had great growth, and we're in a good spot. Yeah.
Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about just the backup situation with Davis. What did he do to kind of propel himself to that backup status? And then a two-part question. I'm going back to kind of what Ryan asked about Dylan. What do you remember about talking to him about his very first game as a freshman starting at UCF?
Yeah, so the first part of it, Davis he's created predictable outcomes, and that's what we're looking for. We want to be able to call a play and have a really good idea of what's going to happen before he snaps it. And so he's done that. He's taken care of the football. As a unit, we talk about it all the time, man. That's where it starts and stops. We got to take care of the rock and create good decision making. He's done that, and I think part of that is because he's played ball. He's an older guy. He gets it. He understands it. He's been through it, and that's why it was so important to get him here. And he's done a great job, really has. And then with Dylan going back to his first start, it was actually the second week of his true freshman year. We go down to FAU, and he gets the nod. And I think the thing that I remember most about that is he was the exact same guy. And that's who he is. I fully expect for him to be the same guy Saturday at 2:15 right before we're kicking off. So it's a credit to him and who he is.
Yeah, Jeff, Brent mentioned you and Joe John as the initial connections to Damian Washington. So
Yeah.
I was wondering where that started and how important have the last 3 weeks been for him to get more comfortable with the room?
Yeah, it actually started with a dear friend that played with LD at Missouri and had a great connection with him that worked with me at a couple prior stops, and he's the one who actually introduced us. LD's got an incredible story. He's done a great job with the room with our guys right now. He's fully capable, and man, just excited for his opportunity and what he's done with it so far.
James Hale.
Jeff, UTEP, you've already had a chance to see them once. What do you think about their defense? And as a second part of that, your big playability. You feel like you have big playability in offense going into game one?
Yeah, I think the first part of it is the first thing that jumps off the tape with UTEP is these guys play incredibly hard. Their front four's back, their Mike Backer's back. These guys have played a bunch of ball and they play incredibly hard. So we're going to have to match that and surpass it to start. And then the next part of playmaking ability, we've got guys that can make plays down the field. We're still going to be the group that takes what they give us and move the football that way.
Hey, Jeff, OU's got 3 quarterbacks, alums, that are starting in the NFL. And talking about Dylan's stature, none of those guys are over 6'1", I don't think.
Right.
Is there something changing in the game of football that's allowed guys that maybe aren't that pro-style quarterback to have success and that, may portend to what we could see out of Dylan this year?
Yeah, I think absolutely. You've seen it trend over the past 8 to 10 years, guys that hadn't been the prototypical NFL body but have had a ton of success. And again, to me, it still goes back to accuracy, and guys that are incredibly accurate in the pocket, outside of the pocket, and then their anticipation skills, being able to throw guys open and create windows for themselves, so that they, one, can see, and then two, be able to get it out of their hand on time.
When you talk about accuracy, if you don't mind me asking, is there anything that Dylan, maybe even growing up, a drill or something he told you that he did to really try to hone that accuracy?
He's very, very natural. You know, I think you can see that when he's playing the game. He's naturally spinning the football. It comes out of his hand incredibly fast and quick, and he's a guy that's always been able to put himself into good body positions to be able to get the ball out of his hand, create accurate throws, and he's naturally done that and continued to get better at it.
Justin Martinez.
Jeff, I want to ask you about Jalil Farouk, named as one of the starting wide receivers. Just what about him really impressed you so far this offseason?
Yeah, I think the thing with Lil, man, is he's continued to mature. One, he's been the same guy in the building every single day. He's got this huge future, and I think he's just now starting to figure it out. And the guy loves to compete. He loves to play football, and to me, he's shown what we're all about as a unit, as a team. He's worked incredibly hard. He's been the same guy. He's been accountable. He's been dependable. He's been tough. And so those things have put him in a position to go do some fun things this fall.
Let's go to John River.
Jeff, position near and dear to your heart, offensive line.
Yeah.
How's the communication up there this preseason? How's it been? And was there anything in that process that led to those 5 guys starting Saturday?
Yeah, I think the communication piece of it has been really good. There's been great buy-in. They've bought into the tempo piece of it and playing fast and understanding how they've got to communicate and the urgency that we got to do it with to be able to play the way we want to play. And I think the biggest thing with those 5 guys that are going to get the nod on Saturdays, they've created a ton of consistency. You know, again, we know what we're going to get before we get it. And then there's, some guys that are sitting there at backups that'll play as well, so that have done a really good job. But that group, man, has done a great job. We're in a really good place as a unit right now because of them, and it's going to start. It's going to start up front like always.
Real quick, 3 of those 5 starters began their careers at another school.
Yeah.
Does that help a guy pick up Portuguese, as a coach called it here?
Yeah,
just learning and being able to adapt.
Again, I think like you look at it from Davis Bevel's standpoint, right? He's had to live something else to put him in a position to have success here and win the 2 job. It's the exact same thing for those other guys. They've had to live some other situations and circumstances, and has created some maturity for them to be able to come in and get ready to roll.
Yeah, Jeff, Bill Snyder was always famous for doing his game plans in April. Do you game plan, like especially September games?
Right.
Do you game plan months early?
Right. We do what we call just a summer opponent, and so we've got guys that are support staff guys that take summer opponents and break them down and look at them and then put together a game plan just to be able to get a jump. Especially for early on games that you're not going to have a ton of tape on for sure.
How does that change when you actually are playing somebody game 1 that's already played?
Yeah, I think just being able to watch those guys Saturday night and then watch the tape, all day yesterday and continuing to game plan and get ready to roll, what it does is it just probably confirms some of the things that you saw on tape last year, or maybe they're doing a couple of different things that you didn't see. But that's the biggest thing, is confirmation of what happened the year before.
Ryan Chapman.
Hey, Jeff, game 1 here. What are you looking for walking out of the game Saturday to say it was a success for your offense? Are there certain numbers you're trying to hit, just execution in certain looks? What to you says good first step to kind of build off throughout the season?
The biggest thing is going to be uncommon effort and physicality. We want to own the line of scrimmage. We want to be incredibly physical. We want to take care of the football. We want to run the rock, and we want to play clean ball. So that's what we want to do on Saturday. I'm not sure that's ever going to change, but that's what we're looking for.
Eli Larry.
Jeff, on the depth chart behind Eric, you've got Marcus Majors, Howie Walker, and Javonte Lawrence. What do those guys do to land those spots, and how do you plan to kind of deploy that depth, especially these first 3 weeks?
Yeah, we talked about it early on, but Eric's going to be the one that's going to lead that group. But Marcus, man, I think he's had the best 8 weeks he's had since he's been here, and he's worked in a great way. Again, to me, talked about it with Jalil, but this guy's been accountable. He's been dependable. He's practiced hard. He's practiced tough. And excited about where he's at. And then Tawi, you saw him in the spring game even. Just he's done a great job of taking every opportunity he's had and making the most of it. And with Javonte being here in the spring, there's been great growth there, so feel good about him as well.
Second on the side, Joe Better.
Jeff, just having had a few different jobs and kind of stepping into a year one type situation. What's it been like kind of, now that you've had a full off season, preseason to go through, what's it been like seeing this staff evolve, the program evolve in year one, especially considering it's Brent's first time as a head coach?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been great for me being able to sit here and learn every single day, get better every single day. I think the best thing about our staff, man, is iron sharpens iron. Coach talks about that all the time. We've got an incredible staff on both sides of the football, and so being able to sit in there and mind melt and plan and talk ball, just continuing to get better every single day and having great confirmation from each side of the ball that, man, what we're doing is stressing people and making it hard. But it's been, man, it's been a joy. It really has.
Middle, Chandler Engelbrecht.
Hey, Jeff. Marvin Mims listed at the starter at slot. Do you see him moving around, or is that what a lot you want to do offensively with him in that slot position?
Yeah, it'll all kind of depend on the flow of the game and how it all unfolds. But Marv's a guy that, again, is very, very talented, and look forward to where he's at right now, but look forward to where he's going too. So he's done a great job of understanding what we're asking him to do, and has got a chance to go play fast and make some plays for sure.
Jesse Grindon.
Hey, Jeff, you talked a few weeks ago about wanting to be aggressive with the install of the offense during the preseason.
Yeah.
Just what have you seen to that end in a few days, before the season opener? Where is this offense at?
Yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. We were aggressive. Again, we were trying to stress those guys in fall camp mentally and physically. Our guys took to it, and they responded in a great way. They've spent a ton of time in the building on their own, learning exactly the ins and outs and what we're wanting from a day-to-day standpoint. And again, I feel good about where we're at today for sure.
Okay, third row, Mason Young.
Jeff, just how was the tight ends group impressed in the lead up to the season, and what do you expect more specifically, I guess, about Brayton and about Daniel Parker?
Yeah, the very first day of fall camp, stress to those guys, man, and the entire unit, take pride in practicing every single day. And those guys took pride in practicing every single day. And we asked those guys to do so much inside the offense, and they've taken to that. And I could not be more excited about those two guys and what they're going to do on Saturday, whether it's catching the ball or playing in the core, whatever it is. These guys have owned it, man, and just thankful for both those guys and excited about what they're going to do for us.
Back to Barry.
Yeah, Jeff, the hurry-up offenses, teams that play fast, occasionally there's been some friction with the defense because you're getting your defense back out there. In your career, Baylor, UCF, Ole Miss, everywhere, how have you managed to avoid that, if you have? And what do you do to placate a defense and say, hey, guys, we could use a rest over here?
Well, there's constant conversation through the flow of a game and understanding when you have to balance that, and finding different ways to tempo and create exactly what you're wanting from a team standpoint. So that's not going to change. There'll be great conversation throughout the game to make sure that we're doing that, and one, taking advantage of playing fast, but also understanding situations when we need to pull back if we need to.
Okay, let's go back to Ryan Chapman.
Jeff, you mentioned the depth on the offensive line. You got new faces at backup spots and Guyton, Sexton, Taylor. What have you seen out of those guys throughout camp that gives you that confidence?
Yeah, Tyler Guyton has been really, really good. He was good in the spring. He had a great summer. Looking for big things from him, to continue to push and excited about where he's at. Jake Taylor, Jacob Sexton, these are both guys that weren't here in the spring, but you see them on the two deep, and it's a credit to them. And they've come in and did an unbelievable job this summer with Schmitty, have put themselves in position to compete and be called on and be guys that we can call on and feel good about it. So excited for them to be such young guys and be able to do what they're doing right now.
Eric Bailey.
Coach, I know there's competition all the time to get on the depth chart, become a starter. Which position group was the most competitive, and which one you look at and said, man, these guys are really, it's hard to pick who we're going to go with?
Yeah, I don't know if it's hard to pick as far as who we're going to go with, but the guys that I thought did the best job competing all fall camp were the tight ends. Braden Willis, Daniel Parker, Caden Helms, Jason Llewellyn. I'm not sure Jason's not the most improved player on our entire offense from the spring. What he's done for himself, just putting himself in a position to go out and do some things if he was needed. But man, those guys are steady, and that's what we're looking for. We're talking about uncommon effort, physicality, accountable, dependable, tough. That's what they are, and so proud of that group.
Last one, John Hoover.
Oh, that was my question on the two Jakes, so I'm good.
James, and last one.
Andrew Rain
Yeah.
didn't get to go through the spring. He
Yeah.
comes back and wins the job over a very good player. Or I'm sure you know, but talk about Rain and coming back and really getting that job.
Yeah, Raim's done an incredible job through fall camp. So looking for great consistency, toughness, edge, and the guy that's going to set the tone from a tempo standpoint. Best tempo teams we've ever been a part of it started because of the center, and Raim's got it and had a great camp.
Sooner Scoop HD.